to the American Public Transit Authority, nearly 1/5 of all transit buses were run by natural gas or liquefied natural gas in 2011. Transit buses are the largest user of natural gas vehicles right now. The fastest growing NGV segment is waste collection, and we have one of those out there. In transfer collection, 40% of trash haulers purchased in 2011 were natural gas. There's 35 airports now running natural gas vehicles in their own fleets or in there. And if those of you who have been around natural gas in this area for a while, you know we did have a natural gas station at the Sunoco there at the airport. Maggie and I spoke there in about 2005, I think, Maggie, or 2008. We had a big event out there, and we had a number of vehicles. That's when flexi fuel vehicles were kind of new to the thing, so that tells you how long ago it was. And it says here the Clean Port Initiative of Southern California said there'll be more than 50 million natural gas vehicles worldwide in the next 10 years. So it's just kind of in about 9% of the world's transportation fleets. Wait a minute, I can't believe we have that many vehicles in the States. A little bit from our president. The U.S. imports 11 million barrels of foreign oil a day, and it's a number that has, which has fallen to $8.4 million a day. So we're already, you can see, we're already not importing as much oil as we have in the past. We already talked about the environmental benefits. And so I think that's just some updates. So with that being said, I'd like to get started with our next panel.
Good afternoon. First of all, I'd like to say thank you very much for the opportunity to speak to this esteemed group today. It's wonderful that we are here for such an occasion. And as Rick indicated, I've been in the natural gas industry and specifically related to the non-traditional uses of natural gas for a number of years. Well over 20 years, so that's about as far as I'll go with a specific time frame on that. But needless to say, I've seen the ebb and the waning of the natural gas vehicle industry. And one of the things that has changed in the last few years, especially, has been the introduction of the Marcellus shale play. With that introduction, we see that the supply picture for natural gas has certainly made a change in all of the psyche of everyone who's possibly interested in looking at alternative fuels as a viable alternative. And as a result of that, we see now that also with manufacturers coming into this industry and the opportunities for this use of natural gas being not just for clothing or for the traditional uses that we've seen in the past, but helping them to make the leap from their dryers to their vehicles. It's an opportunity for all of us today to figure out how we can get away from our dependence on foreign oil and take a look at energy security for our country and look at ways in which we could take a look at the economy and make a change for ourselves. So if we think of this natural gas and people's natural gas and why I'm here today because it's opportunity for the People's Natural Gas Company as one of the fuel providers to work with all of you here who I would consider our energy partners and trade allies and certainly prospective customers or existing customers who can look at this as another opportunity to save on energy as well as money and also have an opportunity to make a better difference in quality of life for our children. Part of my life at the Natural Gas Company has been in a number of non-traditional market segments, developing market research and strategies for our company. But I would have to say that in these last 3 to 5 years, more than at any other time, it has been just stunning what we're seeing from even upper management, even with the change in our own corporate structure, where we have had a number of different things happening with restructuring and reorganization, that we can see that there are massive changes underway, and that not only is it just something we're seeing with a trend from the external forces, but within our own company, taking an active part. At one time, the People's Natural Gas Company had over 254 vehicles in its fleet. At this time, we are down below 40. that tells you that from an industry, looking at it from the natural gas company side, you can see how there's changes afoot. Because right now, although we are the largest natural gas utility company network of refueling stations in Pennsylvania, we have a lower number of vehicles actually running on natural gas ourselves. So I'm very happy to report to you today that we're making a change in this. The vehicle that you see out in the bays of the mechanical area here to the left, the very happy and fresh, exciting looking Honda GX vehicle is my car. And it has lots of blue sky and clouds on it. I like to think of it as a fresh vehicle. The guys that I work with, they tell me, oh, Tish, you're driving the cloud car today. And I'm always sure to tell them, make sure you're not saying the clown car. So we just want to make sure that we do have everyone's attention focused on the fact that natural gas vehicles are not just something new, but they are back. And they're back in a big way because we have the supply to support it, we have the price points to support it, and we have the vehicle available with the technology now to really make an impact on our society and our communities and for our families. So as Rick was so gracious to introduce me as the lady of the group, I can say that, you know, I'm happy to be a woman in this industry. I'm happy to see what we can do and how we've made some inroads. The person who is here with Honda International today is a woman. The people who you see out here, not only from Jeff Bristow's recognition today, but Maggie is here for the DEP, she's a woman. And I see several other women who are here in the industry. So it's not just a guys thing, guys. So we're here to stay as well, and we are looking forward to working with you for the People's Natural Gas Company and being your partner and assisting those of you who would like to do stations. One of the things that we are trying to do and work with and provide a little more flexibility with is to make our stations even available on somewhat of a piloted basis, on an interim basis. So I know that there's some individuals who are here today who are probably going to say, oh, come on, Tish, you know, I've tried that before. But I know that we're really working seriously toward that end now, and we have a number of projects underway which have required and will be able to utilize that option to make it available for our customers to ease into this market and have an experiential opportunity so that they're not shy about seeing how natural gas can make a difference in their fleet. So that's a little bit about me and a little bit about People's Gas.
Hi, I'm Frank King. Thanks everyone for coming today. Just seeing the growth in the past year is quite refreshing. As EQT, we kind of got brought into this with Giant Eagle. Giant Eagle's CEO happens to sit on our board, and he went to India a few years back and saw that everything was running on CNG. So he came back to our CEO and said, how do we make this happen? And so within the next year, we worked on trying to develop that market. Giant Eagle put in a station, we put in a station, we piloted a number of upfit kits, we retrofitted some vehicles just to get it moving. And walking in this morning, it was nice to see how many different types of vehicles there are today. So a little bit about EQT. Of course, everyone knows Equitable Gas. We have about 275,000 customers. We also are one of the largest Marcellus shale producers with 5.3 TCF in reserves. We produce almost a BCF a day, so if you think about that in gasoline gallon equivalents, in terms of the, how abundant it is, that's about 8 million gallons that we produce a day. If you want to think about it, how much do we really have? And we're only the 23rd largest producer, so just to give you an idea. And then we also have 11,000 miles of pipeline. We have a transmission and storage company. So those are where people will want to connect to our systems. Through our pipeline systems, we have 2 proposed stations that have already put in tap requests with us that are supposed to be built within the next year. So this is kind of the drivers of how we pitch it to people that are interested in wanting to do it. And I know everyone's familiar with it, so I'll be brief. But it's just, it's cheaper, it's cleaner, and it goes towards our energy independence. We spend $1 billion a day purchasing corn oil. In terms of the emissions, it's 20 to 30% less CO2. And this is a map of what it looks like throughout the country. So if you look where the larger markets are in terms of Denver and Salt Lake City. Salt Lake City, it's about a $2 difference. And then in California and in Southern California, there's two different markets there as well. And in Pittsburgh, everything's priced about, I think it's $1.99 at Waste Management and Giant Eagle. And gas today is roughly $3.90. So when we talk about the supply and demand, obviously it's not going to happen overnight. You're not going to displace all of the corn oil. But we import, the reality is we import 67% of our oil. So the opportunity, and the majority of that is used for on-road transportation. So the opportunity is, that's your energy independence opportunity. If you can displace what you're importing with what you're using on road, that's where your opportunity exists. So what are we doing? We constructed our public access CNG station. We're replacing or converting 15% of our vehicles in Pennsylvania each year to be natural gas. And we're performing fleet evaluations. We're helping those that want to do this. And if it makes sense for you, we'll do the economics. We'll help you with grant funding. And our station's priced at $1.76 gallon equivalent. A little bit about the fueling network. These are the stations that were all mentioned earlier. BMAC is one of the next ones to be constructed. There's one going in the south side. It's Cleopatra Resources Station, but it's branded as, I think, American Natural. And then you have the four clean energy stations, the innovative entrepreneur stations, and then there's another one proposed in Waynesburg. And Rick asked me to talk a little bit about fuel prices. So these are our projections based on futures out to 2015. And as you can see, today diesel's $4.19, gasoline's $3.90, and natural gas is roughly $2. And we believe that spread will exist just because of